What this is an examination of the historical facts on what happened with the Lord's people and how did they end up in the condition that they are in. Going through the Bible and showing how they got from the Holy Land to Babylon the Great, which is known as America. What happened with the Israelites? The Israelites were known as the greatest people on the planet and the greatest nation on the planet. How can such a large part of that nation just disappear from off the face of the earth? Not only was it known as the greatest nation, it was also known as the wisest nation. Known for their wisdom, admired among the nations for the wisdom and understanding that God gave them. Now, how can such a large piece of this nation be missing? Be a missing link in history where it can't be explained what happened to this group of people. The fact is that the nations on this planet Earth don't want to explain it. There's a conspiracy that took place in the Bible. The scriptures tell us, the word of God tell us, that there was a conspiracy that took place on the earth with the nations on the earth to make sure that the nation of Israel never be found, make sure that the nation of Israel remain uneducated to their history, and make sure that the nation of Israel never returned back to God. And they started this campaign through this conspiracy by teaching lies, by conquering God's people, number one, and then re-educating the people of God and teaching them lies about their history and changing their history so that the name of Israel could be no more in the original Israelites' remembrance. They did all these things and devised all these plans, and they forgot about the Lord, our God. But we want to get back to the point. The point that I'm trying to make is the Israelites were known as a wise and an understanding people by every nation on the planet Earth. And now they're a missing link in history where nobody knows where they are. But there's also some things that's directly related to this subject. You also have missing links in history. They're known as the wonders of the world, where people can't figure out, even in the day and age that we are living in, why are these great monuments on the planet Earth? And what purpose did they serve? Does it have any connection with the holy people of God that was known for their wisdom and understanding? As you can see in the February 17th speaking engagement, I clearly went through all these things. But I'm going to give you, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4. And let's get a detailed examination. Let's do a detailed examination on the transition, on what took place with the nation of Israel. How did they transcend from one point to the next? The book of Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 6. We want to read that.
Keep therefore and do them.
Read on.
For this is your wisdom.
Okay, so this is Moses instructing the children of Israel that the laws and the commandments that was given to them by Moses, by God, through Moses rather, was something that they were supposed to keep, something that they were supposed to cherish. He's talking to the whole nation of Israel at this point. Read on.
And your understanding in the sight of the nations.
And it is your understanding in the sight of all the people on the planet Earth at that time. Read on.
Which shall hear all these statutes.
Read on.
And say, surely this great nation.
Surely what?
Surely this great nation.
So the scriptures is telling you, Bible is telling you, if you can't believe God, you know you can't believe nobody. I believe God. I don't believe anybody else. And that's the problem that the majority of the people have with Apostle and Chief High Priest Tazadaqyah. I don't give a damn what you say, and I don't believe you, and I don't believe your records. I get my information directly from God. Bottom line. And the scriptures clearly tell you that all nations on this planet, no matter how much you're going to try to hide it, no matter how much you want to erase this out of your anacles, no matter how much you want to try to scrub this from history, all nations admired the nation of Israel. All nations was talking about how great our people were, our ancestors were as a nation of people. This is what God is telling us. Read on.
Is a wise.
And what?
Is a wise.
They admired us for our wisdom. You ever heard of the Queen of Sheba? How she traveled in a caravan just to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and said would she have heard the fame of Solomon, didn't even do him justice when she came and seen him in person. Read on.
and understanding people.
This is a wise and understanding people. This great nation is a wise and understanding people. Read on.
For what nation is there so great who have God so nigh unto them?
And another thing that was known about the nation of Israel is that their God has always been close to them. So this is what made it nearly impossible, or virtually impossible, for any nation to conquer. How do you conquer the unconquerable? Made it impossible for any nation to conquer the tribes of Israel. Because what? Read verse 7 again.
For what nation
Read on.
is there so great
Come on.
who have God so nigh unto them?
Yeah, the God of heaven and earth. We're the only ones that follow that God. That was something that was also written in the annals. It's written in the histories of nations. That we're the ones that left all the traditions of all the ancient people in the ancient times and follow a God that nobody was following. And declared our God, the one we was following, to be the only God, the God of the nation of Israel, which caused the whole world to hate us, which immediately pitted a relationship of them against us, an attitude of them against us, because that's exactly what happened with the Israelites. We was against everybody else when we found our God, when our God introduced himself to us and told us that he is the only God and he is the Lord our God. Read on.
As the Lord our God
Read on.
is in all things that we call upon him for.
And everything that we called upon the Lord for. So what happened with the nation of Israel? That we ended up in a situation that we are in today. What happened with the nation of Israel? That the tribes eventually got conquered by the nations on this planet Earth. What happened with our people? The scripture tells us what? Get the book of Deuteronomy chapter 32. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 32. And this is going to give us some insight on what was happening with the nation of Israel. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 30. I want you to read that. Read.
How should one chase 1,000?
How shall one chase 1,000? You got the nation of Israel that was unconquerable, that was invincible because God was so near to them. Then they got to the point where one heathen was able to put 1,000 Israelites to flight. How shall one chase 1,000? Read on.
And two.
And what?
And two.
And two heathens, two nations on this planet Earth, two individuals of that nation, read on,
Put 10,000 to flight.
have 10,000 Israelites running in combat. How is that possible? How is that possible? How can you go from such a, magnificent, mighty, unconquerable point to the weak, inferior people that's being put to flight by two little soldiers of another military? Read on.
Except their rock.
Except what?
Except their rock.
Except our foundation, our rock. Read on.
Had sold them.
So this is what happened with the nation of Israel. Something happened that caused God to be against the nation of Israel, which then removed the protection from the nation of Israel, which caused our people to be conquered. The nations of this earth, they know that the only way they could come against the nation of Israel is that if that our God is no longer protecting us and with us, and we having a dispute with our God, or our God is judging us because of some illegal activity that was committed within our nation. To verify that, let's get the book of Judith chapter 5. And we're going to read the 3rd verse. Every nation knows. God is telling us that every nation knows. They know this. And this is why they came against us, to conquer us, because they knew this. Judith chapter 5, and we're going to start at the 3rd verse. I want you just to read the 3rd verse. Judith chapter 5, verse 3. Read that.
And he said unto them,
Read on.
Tell me now, you sons of Canaan,
Come on.
who this people is.
Okay, so now what this is Holofernes and Nebuchadnezzar getting ready to come against the Israelites. And the Israelites was preparing for war. So now this guy is doing what most guys would do, most military captains would do, and kings would do if they was getting ready to go into a military campaign against another nation. They would try to find out about the people that they're fighting against. So he wants some historical information on these people, the Israelites, that he getting ready to come up against. Read on.
That dwelleth in the hill country.
That's in the land of Israel, in Judea, in Jerusalem. Read on.
And what are the cities that they inhabit?
They want to know all their possessions. What's their borders? Read on.
And what is the multitude of their army?
And how big is their military? to be able to know whether he can meet them with his military, whether our ancestors had a bigger military than he had, or whether his military was bigger. Read on.
And wherein is their power?
And where's the source of their power? Where do they get their inspiration from? Where do they get their strength from? Where do they get their might from? Go ahead.
And strength. And what king is set over them?
And they wanted to know the leader of the organization, the leader of the nation, to know how wise he was to be able to be tactical in war. So he's looking to make war with the Israelites. And he's trying to find out information about them. Go ahead.
Or captain of their army.
Or captain of their army, which is the one that would be taking the army out to war. Now I want you to go and I want you to read verse 5. I want you to keep reading until I tell you to stop. Verse 5, read that.
Then said Achior, the captain of all the sons of Ammon.
Come on.
Let my word now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant.
Okay, so now he's seeking this information. So this guy happens to know about. Here, this is a military tactical genius in Moab. Read that one more time.
Then said Achior, the captain of all the sons of Ammon.
The captain of all the sons of Ammon. Read on.
Let my word now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant.
Okay, so this is a tactical genius military from the Japanese, the Ammonites. And he's about to give them some historical facts on the Israelites that he happened to know. Because all men of war are supposed to know about another country just in case they have to make war with them. Read on.
And I will declare unto thee the truth.
He said, I'm going to just tell you the truth straight up and plain about these people in that hill country. Read on.
Concerning this people.
Concerning the Israelites. Come on.
Which dwelleth near thee and inhabit the hill countries.
Come on.
And there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant.
He said, I'm not going to tell you one lie. Everything that I'm telling you is about these people is the 100% truth. Come on.
This people are descendants of the Chaldeans.
They are descendants of the Chaldeans. That's going all the way back to Abraham when he was in Ur of the Chaldees. So that's what showing you they know the beginning of our history. These people, he's telling you that we came from Abraham, which was the father of the one of the patriarch fathers of the tribes of Israel. Read on.
And they sojourned heretofore in Mesopotamia.
And they went here and there in Mesopotamia. Read on.
Because they would not follow the gods of their fathers.
Because all other gods that was around, the people idols, Abraham got up and got his family and told them that those gods was not God. Because he heard from the real God, the one and only God. So the whole earth was against Abraham. You got scriptures where the Lord said he was only dealing with Abraham. You got people upset right now thinking that, you guys are saying that God is only dealing with you. Well, we are the children of Abraham. And yes, let it be made known to every false prophet in the beast, the kingdom of the white man. Let it be made known to you today that the God of Israel is only dealing with the Israelite nation that's coming back through the Israelite church of God and Jesus Christ. Read on.
Which were in the land of Chaldea.
Come on.
For they left the way of their ancestors.
They left the way of their ancestors, talking about the people that was before Abraham. All the idol worshiping that was going on prior to Abraham. Read on.
And worship the God of heaven.
And did what?
And worship the God of heaven.
And did worship the God that dwells in the heavens. They left the tradition of their ancestors to worship a new God that nobody knew about but them. They was the only ones that knew that God. Read on.
The God whom they knew. So they cast them out from the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia.
Everybody that was around didn't want us around because we was talking about our God is the only God. That's what our ancestors was doing. Come on.
And sojourned there many days.
And sojourned there many days. Can you read regular, please? Read on.
Then their God commanded them.
Then their God commanded them. We got an order from the Lord our God. Read on.
To depart from the place where they sojourned.
Come on.
And to go into the land of Canaan, where they dwelt.
Okay, so the land of Canaan is talking about the land of Israel. That's where God gave us an order. He said he was going to promise to give us that land. Okay, the land of Israel. Read on.
And were increased with gold.
And what?
And were increased with gold.
Come on.
And silver.
Come on.
And with very much cattle.
And with very much cattle. Is that verse 10?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want you to read just to the end of 10.
Covered
okay,
all the land
read verse
of
10
Canaan.
again.
They went down into Egypt and sojourned there.
Okay, so this is also God was orchestrating, as you know the history, God orchestrated this whole thing because he wanted us to do things into Egypt. That's where one of those do things in Egypt and take over Egypt, and that's what we eventually did. That's why you have the pyramid out there, the Sphinx. Everywhere we was at, we left a wonder. We left something for you to wonder at. When we went there, when we left, We left something behind us for you to look at in awe for the rest of the time that the earth is here. Read on.
While they were nourished and became there a great multitude, so that no one could number their nation.
Okay, so we became a nation in the land of Egypt. That's when, you know, you really got all the tribes started multiplying and increasing in the land of Egypt. Is that the end of 10?
Yes, it is.
Okay, now give me verse 17, please.
And whilst they sinned not before their God.
Here it is. Here it is. This is what every nation knows. While we are not sinning against our God, read on.
They prospered, because the God that hateth iniquity.
The God that hates iniquity, read on.
Was with them.
It was with the nation of Israel. While they sin not against, so the nations notice. Why do you think they be giving you free pork chops and all that in the Chinese restaurant, their spare rib tips and all that? Because they want to keep you sinning against God. All that, that's against the dietary law. We're not supposed to eat pork. But, you know, we're not supposed to break no commandment. And this is why they keep a heavy influence over the areas that our people are in, because they want to keep you against God so God don't come back to you. But the Lord is doing something to combat that. But we're going to keep going. We're going to show how the nation of Israel got conquered. That's our goal right now, to show how we got conquered. Read the 17th verse one more time.
And whilst they sinned not before their God.
Come on.
They prospered, because the God that hateth iniquity.
Come on.
Was with them.
I want you to read all the way to 21. The God that hated iniquity was with them. Read on.
But when they departed from the way which I have appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles.
They were what?
Destroyed in many battles.
So now that's the answer to the question. How can one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight? Except their rock had sold them. What does that mean? God delivered them to the slaughter because they did not do what God had commanded them to do. Read that verse one more time.
But when they departed from the way which he appointed them.
When they departed from the laws that God gave our people. Read on.
They were destroyed in many battles.
Come on.
Very sore.
Come on.
And were led captives to a land that was not theirs.
And were conquered and led into other lands, were taken into captivity as slaves. Read on.
And the temple of their God was cast to the ground.
Come on.
And their cities was taken by the enemies.
Come on.
But now are they returned to their God.
But when we return to our God, now you can see why everybody's against the Israelite Church of God, Jesus Christ. They're against us returning. They're against this information coming out. They're against the Comforter, which is the Spirit of God that's going to go out and cause all the tribes of Israel to come back home. Now you see why this sect is spoken against every place and everywhere, because they know that when we return back to the Lord our God, which we are doing now. Read on.
And are come up from the places where they were scattered.
And come up from the places where it's scattered, which we are doing now. Come on.
And have possessed Jerusalem.
And have what?
And have possessed Jerusalem.
And we're going to get that back also. Come on.
Where their sanctuary is.
Come on.
And are seated in the hill country.
Come on.
For it was desolate. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people.
If there be any error in this people, that error means sin. That's what that means. If there be any sin in this people. Read that one more time.
Now therefore, my Lord
come
and
on.
Governor,
Come on.
if there be any error in this people.
If there be any sin in the Israelites. Read on.
And they sin against their God.
And they do what?
And they sin against their God.
Read on.
Let us consider.
That's what?
Let us consider.
Let us counsel this out. Let us consider, read on.
That this shall be their ruin.
That we can ruin them. This we can go and destroy them. We can conquer them. And this is what happened. This is what happened with the tribes of Israel. This is what happened with the 10 lost tribes, what they call lost tribes that was over here in America. This is what happened when the Spanish came and conquered the 10 lost tribes. This is what happened when the French came and conquered the 10 lost tribes. This is what happened when the British Empire came and conquered the 10 lost tribes that was over here. This is what happened. This is what happened when America came and conquered the 10 lost tribes that was over here, and also conquered the kingdom of Judah that was still on the other side of the earth, and did what? And brought them over here into captivity. This is what happened. Sin was found within the nation of Israel, and that was our ruin. This is what got us into the position that we are in right now. Read on.
And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
Read on.
But if there be no iniquity in
But
their
if there
nation,
be what?
But if there be no iniquity in their nation.
Give me that whole verse again. Read that one more time.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation.
The verse before that. Read that one more time.
Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people.
Come on.
And they sin against their God.
Come on.
Let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
Come on.
And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
You see how bold this guy is in his counsel? Letting them know that we will definitely conquer them if they're sinning against their God? And let's go do it because this is the only time we're going to be able to do it? Read on.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation,
Come on.
let my Lord now pass by. Least their Lord defend them.
At least their Lord do what?
Least their Lord defend them.
Because once God is nigh to the nation of Israel again and defending the nation of Israel, read on.
And their God be for them, and we become a reproach.
They're going to become a laughing stock of the planet Earth like the Egyptians. That's what he's telling you. He said their God will make mockery of us if we go up to war against them and their God be with them. So it's all about, is our God with us? Was our God with the Israelites when they was over here on this side of the earth? No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. When the Israelites eventually came over here, they had good purposes. They had good reasons when they first came over here. But when after a certain amount of generations being over here, they didn't continue following God. They started sinning against God. So we're going to go into all that. But we're going to show you that God did say that our people was going to be over here. I'm going to show you that. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy now, chapter 28. Deuteronomy chapter 28. And we're going to start at the 49th verse. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. We're going to read that all the way down to 68. Read that.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee.
Okay, so here it is right here. Moses is saying what? What is this all about? Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. We're going to tell you what this is about.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If you will not listen to the voice of the Lord your God. This is what Moses is telling the Israelites. He's telling all the tribes this. All the tribes were still together at this point. And if you don't listen to the Lord your God, read on.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
To make sure that we do everything that he has commanded us to do. Remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. Serve the Lord our God with joyfulness and cheerfulness of heart. Be devoted to the high holy days, the Passover, and all the commandments that God has given us in the Bible. Read on.
And the statutes which I command thee this day.
Come on.
That all these curses shall come upon thee.
Come on.
And overtake thee.
All these curses was going to come on us and we was going to be overtooken. Just like the captain of Ammon was telling Holofernes that this is how we can overcome them. If they are against their God and not listening to their God, then curses is going to be on them. So now let's get verse 49 now.